They're coming in. They're off, racing for the County Building Supplies Ladies Open race over 3¼ miles, and a total of 19 fences to jump here. Khyber Kim was by far and away the slowest one to get going. It is Fort George who led them out over the opening obstacle, albeit narrowly. So on the outside is Kaziri Kate, as the field now make the uphill climb and the left-handed turn into the home straight for the first of 3 times. Fort George to Kaziri Kate. They're being chased through by Hall Kelly. The Ruddy Article in the sheepskin noseband over towards the inside. Stratford Stroller follows, a length away then to Court in Session down the outside, who now just closes up a little bit, and Khyber Kim is pulling very hard under restraint in rear. Up and over the second, and Khyber Kim made a shocking mistake there, blundered really badly, and Camilla Henderson had to sit very tight as they head on now towards the 3rd fence. This will be the last in a couple more circuits. The lead is with Fort George. The red, white and blue silks now over that in the lead. Khyber Kim better that time, and if anything the slowest jump of all came from Hall Kelly, Abigail Banks. As they head on up past us, they've got a couple more circuits in front of them now, and there would be about 8 lengths covering top to tail. Fort George jumping well in front, and once again Hall Kelly was given 4 faults and a reminder on touching down. So swinging left-handed away from the banks now and out towards the side of the track. The next fence coming up to them is another plain one. Fort George left it well to Ruddy Article along the inside of Kaziri Kate. A length and a bit back to Stratford Stroller, the pale blue cap along the inside. A little wide of that one is Court in Session as they head left-handed now into the back. Hall Kelly and Khyber Kim are the back couple. Open ditch time now, their first real test. Coming to it, Fort George put himself right, all over it safely enough. Fort George by about a length or so here to Ruddy Article along the inside. A little wider out on the track. Court in Session with Kaziri Kate travelling nicely up in between horses as they now make their journey on towards the second of the 3 fences going down the back straight. The next 2 of course being plain. Fort George jumping nicely in front, all over that safely enough. So Fort George from Kaziri Kate as they press on now towards the last one going down here. Court in Session rather stood off that fence. Another blunder at the back end of the field by Khyber Kim, who's not really having a cut at his fences at the moment. The 13-year-old as they now race on to their completion of their opening circuit. Now heading on back towards us and uphill towards the next plain fence, which is going to be number 9. Up ahead now, Court in Session to the outside of Fort George as they leap that one. Banging behind them is Kaziri Kate. Then over to the inside is Ruddy Article, who's got a neck currently on Stratford Stroller as they swing on back towards us. At the back end of the field are Hall Kelly and Khyber Kim, who just needs to pick his feet up a little bit as they gallop on into the home straight now and on towards the first of the 3 fences along this part. So up ahead, Court in Session, Annabelle Roberts on board, now takes a slender lead from on the far side Fort George as they're on the approach to the first of the fences up this part. Passing halfway, Court in Session to Fort George in second, and over to the inside in the dark green colours, Ruddy Article is now bang there also. A couple of lengths further behind to Stratford Stroller, who now catches up in company with Kaziri Kate as they come to tackle the fence, which will be the last in one further circuit of the track. Again, Khyber Kim very sloppy at it and got overtaken again by Hall Kelly to the inside. So a circuit left to travel in the County Building Supplies Ladies Open race. On towards the next plain fence they come, and it is Court in Session who jumps that nicely by about 2 lengths over Fort George, who has now relinquished the advantage with a length and a half on in at 3rd, Ruddy Article towards the inside. Then Stratford Stroller 3 lengths back to Hall Kelly, who gets a slap down the shoulder there. Khyber Kim is out a bit deeper as they tackle the next plain fence. And now the back marker is Kaziri Kate, who quite badly has lost her position in the hands of Claire Hart. So they're now about to turn left-handed into the back straight for the final time. And galloping on towards the last of the open ditches, Fort George, who's put in a pretty good round of jumping to this point. Along the inside of Court in Session, they are the leading pair. Fort George, Court in Session, Ruddy Article is back in third. Stratford Stroller is in fourth place in the blue colours and travels quite nicely. Khyber Kim is a further 1.5 lengths adrift and has now managed to fully get past Hall Kelly, and Kaziri Kate is struggling on at the tail end of the field. So they head on now towards their final 3/4 of a mile. And the next fence going down the far side of the track. They're becoming increasingly strung out. Fort George, doing the stringing out, is up and over that fence by about 2.5 lengths. To in second position on touching down Ruddy Article, who still travels quite nicely under Hannah Watson. A little wider out to Court in Session, then Stratford Stroller. Khyber Kim let that in a 5th place, and a long gap back to Hall Kelly, who in turn has a good advantage over at the back end of the field, Kaziri Kate. But both of those, in all truth, are now looking well beaten off. So left-handed they come along the side of the track. They have 3 more fences left to take in the Ladies Open. Fort George giving it a real good show here, the 12-year-old. Still leads up by a couple of lengths over that. A Ruddy Article is now edging a bit closer, with back in third Stratford Stroller. Khyber Kim is now up into 4th place, but it's hard work, and further back to Court in Session, whose running appears to be done. So Fort George is bringing them left-handed back on into the home straight, but Ruddy Article is looking quite menacing now, about 3 or 4 lengths away to in third Stratford Stroller, and then follows a 1-paced Khyber Kim as they work their way down towards us and on towards the second last. It is Fort George by a length and a half over Ruddy Article in second, both of them now working hard. 7 lengths away in third is Stratford Stroller, and then Khyber Kim at the second last. Still Fort George jumping well, albeit a little out to the left, towards the outside, and trying hard to challenge is Ruddy Article. Now switches back on over to the inside of Fort George, is just wandering under pressure, and Ruddy Article has now come through to stake his claim. Approaching the final fence, Ruddy Article is now in front, and jumped the last safely, is now 5 lengths ahead of Fort George, who's very tired. Khyber Kim is now up into 3rd place, might go second shortly, but it is Ruddy Article in the hands of Hannah Watson in the run to the line, who wins the Ladies Open by about 7 or 8 lengths. Close in the end for second, Khyber Kim and Fort George were the 2 involved. Further back to Stratford Stroller, Hall Kelly and Kaziri Kate.